I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin, and in this video we're going to have a look at Floki, one of the OG loves, one of the first big pumps that I experienced myself. At the moment, doing great, has truly always done great. In this video, a full review and price prediction, what's going to happen this year in 2025. Of course, as always, first we're going to have a look at the token chart. At the moment, sitting at a 1.11 billion market cap. Volume extremely high on the 24 hours, 177 million. Might be because it just had a nice little pump, almost a 9% in the last week. Listed on Binance, Bybit, Coinbase, OKX, all the big ones. I don't see the Korean exchanges though, so that's the only part that's probably missing. Other than that, so Bithumb is there. Upbit perhaps is the only one that's missing from the list of exchanges. But the question is, where did it all begin? So I just want to zoom in a little bit. We're going to go back a long time ago. So for me, as I've explained in previous videos, this was basically initially the run up, and then this God candle, that like 3-day period made it all happen for me. Ton of money was made. And that basically kind of had the attention for me that I always look at it from time to time. Now that pattern actually repeated itself here in 2024 with a massive pump. You can see like over $1 billion, almost $2 billion in volume in just in one day. Absolutely crazy. So this token is known to do crazy things. We're gonna go a little bit deep today because the simplicity of a meme coin, top CMC, basically is number 74 out of the 9,452 active cryptocurrencies listed on CoinMarketCap. That means that it has a lot of potential, right? Now, I can give you a ton of reasons why that is, why I like it, what the potential is, which will be exactly what we're going to go through in this video. But it's still a meme coin, right? So they're very volatile depending on market conditions, but they're therefore also at times funny, a little bit different than your regular project. The people's cryptocurrency, Floki, is the utility token of the Floki ecosystem. So that is the part that is different from back in the day where they were building out the ecosystem. Now they actually have some assets. And over these assets, we will have a look. But obviously, even all these assets combined are unlikely to justify 1 billion FDV. But that's the meme-ish component. So they have the Valhalla game, right? This has been offered for quite some time. I don't know the active playable status of things. Well, active players, 3,600. But it's decent, right? It's a nice interactive experience. Is nothing great. You're not dealing here with an MMORPG, but it's giving utility to the token from different options, items, etc. We can have a quick look at the leaderboard. I don't want to go too deep into it, but I gotta connect your wallet to see all the information. They have different clans. So definitely for the die-hard Floki fans, there is that appeal of there's more to it, right? And links back not to its own Twitter, it links back to Floki. Yeah, it should go right there. So you can see 715k followers, absolutely insane. But let's go back to the ecosystem. So they have the Floki Trading Bot from Telegram, and I think that's accessibility's sake a good thing. A lot of the, let's say, meme-ish ones like Bank obviously also have that, right? They have TokenFi, a tokenization platform, right? This is probably more for projects, which ties into a launchpad, which then basically comes from that. So this is launchpad.tokenfi, right? They launch Simon's Cat, variety of other meme options. Token launcher, staking, all basically one. So this is basically for projects to allow the infrastructure to launch tokens. Kind of self-explanatory. Floki Hub, Web3 identity and the Floki domain. It's like an avatar based, the staking, the future of decentralized finance, FlokiFi. Okay, what do we have here? LP tokens, NFTs, locking, and I assume that would be for APY. So these are just liquidity pools. Lock your NFTs. FlokiFi lock will let you secure NFTs. Batch lock feature. Okay, but do you get APY on it? This is basically the DeFi arm of the Floki ecosystem. And then they have their own NFTs, of course. They have a debit card, merchandise and marketplace, education platform, .floki domain service. Okay, so they kind of have taken the lowest hanging fruit of all these businesses, right? Most of these products you can just buy, you white label it, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing. They just try to give a competitive layer, a utility layer to a token that doesn't necessarily need that, right? Because overall they made a white paper, they have a charity component. I think all in all it's quite aligned on what should be done, right? They have all the top exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, OKX, Crypto.com. To be fair, they have a really, really nice website, right? Really smooth, it has all the information, but the meme-ish angle is still the main thing. That dog Viking and then his Viking army look. I think that is what matters here. But for the token, what matters? Several components is that we need to look at its general market momentum, right? Which at the current time is looking really good. For the meme-ish coins, either you need a meme cycle or you need an altcoin season, and the memes basically will follow through that pattern. In addition, we need Bitcoin dominance to come down for that alt season to start. And of course, we need it not to have pumped into the billions, right? I think that is self-explanatory. So at the lowest point, right, it was like a 10x down from where it is now. At the highest point, it was like 1.5 times of where it is now. So there is not significant there is still significant growth. I just have to look at it properly because you have to count the zeros, right? 1, 2, 3, and it's still holding at the 1, 2, 3 zeros. Yeah, so it's basically 100% increase gain. So if we look at a year to date, yeah, it should be down from where it was, and it is, right? So you can make 100% gain minimum to reach the all-time high. It is not that attractive compared to other tokens, right? When we were looking here, right, we had a lot more decimals to go into that pump where the decimals were basically removed because of the pump in the price, right? Now we're basically going to get a 100% gain, which is still very significant, don't get me wrong, but it's not as significant as obviously 100x pump through that. So perhaps that pump is more eligible to be played with futures, which carries a lot more risk, right, in the volatility. So not generally recommended to anybody, the perps and the futures here, but the perp trading, yeah, with the leverage can be taken into consideration. Instead of taking basically a 2x gain on a 100% increase, you might be able to do that more of a benefit with the leverage, right? Now, what is important still is looking at the holder distribution. For these type of tokens, how many tokens are people on average holding? So it's great that at least Binance is labeled here as the exchanges, but a lot of the other exchanges, as you see here, are not labeled. So we have a contract here, which is 8% of the supply, which I assume is a staking contract, also almost $100 million worth of tokens. Binance, Gate, Binance, MEXC, Binance, Floki Multisig. So this is controlled by the team, $2.6 million worth. KuCoin. Now, the difficulty with the Binance Smart Chain is that not everything here is labeled, right? So we can, for example, this is $18 million. We can open this and based on what they are transacting, right, in, out, we can basically dig deeper and come to a conclusion what this is actual for, right? Like what they're working with. But this seems to be something that has to do with the ecosystem. And that's basically how you go through it one by one. Now, if you come up, there is 449,000 token holders, which if you watch my video, I usually look at this number, because if we would see an FDV like this, like we've seen in the past, right, just above $1 billion, and there's only 5, 7, 10,000 holders, these top holders have a lot more risk of dumping on people, and there's basically a thin spread of holders that there might not be enough quantitative interest among the users, because we would assume more people have the option to access more liquidity to buy these tokens, right? Now in this case, we're looking at almost 500,000 people holding these tokens, right? So I don't want to say I'm not worried at all if I see an address like this holding almost $700 million worth of tokens. I would be worried, but this is a burn address. So see, this is 0x0 dead. So all these tokens, they have been burned, right? And then the first one we come here, it's a contract. And then you see a list of variety of exchanges holding majority of the supply. Now it's funny that with an FDV like this, you only need to hold 0.05 basically for to already own $500,000. If you own basically just close to 0.1, just below 0.1, 0.1 is already $1.2 million, right? So there must be some retail wallets in this list, in this complete overview. And yeah, there's some wealthy people if it's just one token, you can imagine. So it's good to look at that distribution, right? Look at the distribution of holders. Don't see anything too crazy, right? What's the volume? Well, we already seen the volume on CoinMarketCap. And it takes 5 seconds to check out the holder count, you know, what's going on, how it works. Same thing as the volume, you know, is the volume up, is the volume down? Why? It usually has to do with price impact. Now for Floki specifically, like I said, we want to have a look at the altcoin season, right? The meme-ish vibe, right? What are the other meme tokens doing? So for the altcoin season, the Bitcoin dominance needs to go down, right? Last month it was Bitcoin season, last week it was a Bitcoin season, yesterday it was Bitcoin season. You can see the indicator is still leaning into the Bitcoin season direction and not in the altcoin. When the alts move, Ethereum moves, Bitcoin price stays the same, the dominance goes down, altcoin season goes up. You can see here the trend patterns, right? Now, the yearly high of interest of the altcoin season was 87. This was December 4th. That was last year, right? And during that time, we had some very significant pumps in a variety of different coins, right? The yearly low was when the Bitcoin dominance was the highest, was April this year. So we're still pretty far away from an altcoin season. As soon as Bitcoin basically stops pumping, while still Floki is still in the top, just underperforming to Bitcoin for the last 90 days, right? So it's still doing really, really well. Overall, what does that mean? It means is that Bitcoin is not done pumping. So as soon as it stabilizes, the money flows to ETH, ETH flows into other coins, then it's go time. Now, there's a separate meme section. It's not the section that I look at often because it doesn't interest me that much, the meme tokens, but you can see that when most of these memes are green, they're green. They kind of move together, but at times you have like significant pumps in separate tokens. So you can see the average here is about between 8 to 10, right? 8, almost 11, 10, 8, almost 8, 6, and then you have one that has like 21. So it pulls up things like 4 and 0. But it's good to basically view over the general metrics of the market, right? Meme coins are prone to that unless there's any crazy announcements. You know, what are the other tokens in the market doing? So first, specifically category of meme coins. Second, when is that alt season coming? Right? Where is the money going? And it might sound really complex. It's truly not, right? Like the more advanced features on CoinMarketCap now give you a complete overview. All you have to do is look at this chart, right? Where is it going? Look at this index here. Okay, are people fearful? Are they buying or are they selling? What is it that they're doing specifically, right? Which part of the market are we in? Is the market overvalued? Is it undervalued? Are they going to buy or are they going to sell? These are just indications. Doesn't mean that that will actually happen, right? But you can just get an indication of the Bitcoin dominance, of the ETH dominance, right? And this again ties directly back to altcoin season. So it's very good to understand these things when you're basically saying like, hey, should I put my money in Floki? Because these meme coins are very sensitive in bullish markets to pump quite rapidly. They are also very sensitive in bearish markets to dump aggressively, right? That is because there's limited utility to these tokens. That is the exact reason why the Floki team tried to build more and more simple utilities around this token to perhaps reduce the volatility on the actual token itself, right? Which is important to take into consideration. So when we go back to the Floki token to make a final analysis, right? Will the token pump again? My forecast opinion is yes, it will pump again. In the next bull run, in the next altcoin season, will it go back to all-time high? Yes, it will go back to all-time high. This token has proven itself time and time again. My opinion is there's a big ecosystem around it. There's so many holders. This token will do well in the next run. Will it be the biggest money printer? Probably not, because it's already relatively close to all-time high. It will have to surpass all-time high significantly in order to re-establish its position. We have Bank, we have Dogecoin in terms of the dog segment, right? And now we have big other hitters coming in like Pudgy Penguins. So it will be a more competitive market. Now, is there an opportunity? Yes. Is there a good opportunity? Yes. Is it my primary focus for this cycle? It is not, because of the limited potential that is there, but it definitely carries less risk, which is also very important to note. That is the complete overview for Floki today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.